prayer here at the Divine Mercy Center. The first being, would you please pray for my children who have left the church? And the second is, do you know where I could find a good, solid spiritual director? And so, after quite a few years of hearing that request and asking Jesus, where do we find good spiritual directors? Well, we know our priests are limited and it's not possible. But as you saw, on a broad scale, there certainly isn't enough priests to go to serve all of the people of God. And so as God would have it, he has a lady stepped up, and then he has, in this situation, a religious community of women, holy women, dedicated their lives to God, and helping people to understand the faith and to understand that journey, to accompany them as they walk through life. As you saw in the video, there's all different kinds of orders. Their services are all different. Their charism is different. These women's lives will be based on the rule of the 10 evangelical virtues of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So throughout the scriptures, these are 10 virtues that you will find about the Blessed Mother in the Holy Word. I'm sure the Blessed Mother has billions of virtues that we don't even think or know of. But there's the 10 of them that they will be living their life off of daily. So it's one of the prayers that they pray every morning. And they will explain to you a little bit about what their life is, so I won't go into that too much. Some of the things that I've talked about before, and I think every so often is good to mention again, is that the difference between what they are and what we are. So these women are set aside. They're set apart from the laity. And so what that means is their life is beginning to formate, to change according to what will one day be the way of life for them. So in this period of formation, they go through a type of separation from what is familiar, separation from their families, and the whole purpose of that is to help them to detach from all of the emotional, the things that are familiar, the most important things to them at that time, to being more Christ-focused. So every day they're focused from the moment they get up until the moment they go to bed begins with Christ. And everything they do is like a sieve that runs through what Christ would have me do in my day, in my night, in my life. So part of that detachment is not any kind of outward sign of hugging, holding hands, shaking hands, all of this. Touch is sacred. Touch is very sacred. Once a woman becomes engaged and then married, she, in a way, is set apart from other men. So she doesn't get the googly eyes, or she shouldn't get googly eyes for other men. And, same thing for men. That is sacred and holy, and that belongs to her husband. And so is the sacred touch. For these women, it's no different. They're consecrated, they're set apart for Jesus, they belong to Jesus, and so part of that journey, because we are a very familiar ministry, right? We all know each other, we all love each other. When one of us hurts, everybody's hurting, praying like crazy, whatever the case may be. And so it's a very natural inclination to go and hug somebody when, you see them and whatever. It's just what we do. We have Polish, Italian, everything over here. So it's our nature. But we have to realize as a ministry that it's not the same thing for them. And so they, with their own family, father, mother, sisters, etc., that's a different story. Together, when they're having a good day, a bad day, whatever it is, that's privately done, if they hug each other or whatever, share each other's confidences. But it's set apart from the community. They're part of the community, and yet they are set apart. And that's the way God would have it be. And so it's difficult, because they haven't stopped loving the community here. They love the people and the members and all that. But it's part of what they're practicing to help them in that detachment process. That is really important. Making Christ in their ministry. They become mothers to everyone then. Everyone is no longer just a buddy or a friend or whatever. They become mothers. So they're being formed in this community to become mothers for everyone. So it doesn't matter age or whatever, because they are espoused to Christ and will be espoused to Christ one day, they begin to formate their minds as that, in that role. So that's the understanding that I've tried to get from our ministry and our people within the ministry. So I would just like to encourage you more than anything to pray for them, because believe me, they come up against all kinds of obstacles. Number one, family members. If family members come or they visit or whatever, and they're not able to always take that time out that they would like. They don't get to see them that way. They have a conversation with them by phone once a month. Now they can write letters and such, but it's not the same. So those things, that's a sensitive area for them. And some of the things you can just imagine that make it difficult. Men come in and they're attracted to holy young women, and they would make good wives. And so, I got my eye on them like the eagle. I see you out there, man, you're dead meat, don't you touch them, And so the Italian flair gets up there. So, but, there's all kinds of things. Why do you want to be a nun, What's so fun about that? Well, let me tell you. They go hiking, they go swimming, they go to the show, they, do all kinds of projects and crafts, arts, painting, music, go to the zoo. They don't stop living because they enter into a life with following Christ. They continue to exercise their feminine genius as they grow and they learn more and they continue education and all of the beautiful things that women are all about. They decorate their dwelling place for the different seasons, and they do a great job in the kitchen. They'll be doing their own fundraising, and they'll have their bake sales. And if you take a step back there at the table, you'll see some of the beautiful crucifixes that they put together, and they make candles, and they do all kinds of wonderful things to help find funds for what they need. But most importantly, above everything, because they live the way that they live, in community, prayer throughout the day and the evening, they give a part of their heart and their soul to the command that Jesus asked of them, and to all of us really, but in a very unique way. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, and love your neighbor. Because they are not attached to a spouse being in a physical sense to a husband, a man here, they are able to do that. They are able to give themselves to Jesus Christ and to his children, children of God. So their prayer is packed with power because of the self-giving. It's a big sacrifice. It's a very big sacrifice to give up what is familiar, going to Taco Bell whenever you want to go, just doing some of those things that we just don't even think about and just do, But they don't miss too much of that at all because it's fuller in another way. And they do have a lot of fun and fulfilling things. So they'll tell you a little bit more about that. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up where we're at and where they're at. And just to continue to pray, most importantly, pray for them, Sarah and Carla, and pray for more healthy, humble, and holy vocations to this ministry. It's going to change the world, right? Jesus did it with 2, with 12. We're beginning with 2. The trailblazers are on their way, and it's a beautiful thing. So thank you very much for being here and for staying for lunch. And I don't know which one of you comes up, or they're both coming together. Oh, this is really cool. You gotta see this one. Thank you.
So our dwelling place, it's not, we can't call it a convent yet, so because we're not an official order, but our dwelling place is where we live. We live right above the offices in the building right next door where the old rectory used to be for St. Claude's Parish. And it's just like any other house, it has your family. We have a family space. We made a garden. We have a nice, good kitchen with a dining room attached. But the only difference is that we have a chapel, and you can't say that many houses have chapels. So that's great. But yeah, like Mother was saying, we do decorate, it's a normal house. We take turns cooking, and we have our some fall decorations up right now, so it's nice and beautiful. So as for what our life is like now, we do have a lot of prayers that we have to keep to schedule. But we wake up and then we start our day off with morning prayer and then an hour of adoration. So that is very nice. We do the liturgy of the hours every morning, and we also do them in the evening right before we go to bed. And what else? We do the Divine Mercy Chaplet and also the Rosary every day as well. We work here at the center, doing everything that, is part of our formation and also part of our heritage of the Holy Hospitality part. I mean, we make soup in the morning. This week we were working on tacos. So that's, whatever we had, we help try to provide so that, we have something to give to people when they come. We eat all of our meals together, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, usually over at the dwelling place. And we also do get dessert, but within moderation. As Mother was saying, we do a lot of recreational stuff. She mentioned we got to go to the zoo. Most recently, we got to go to one of the local cider meals, which is great. We've gone to many parks to go hiking, and we got to go up north a little bit ago to go on vacation, thanks to a generous donation, and our staff as well. We got to go to a Tigers game. That was really fun. And they won, too.
Bottom of the night.
Bottom of the night. I'll guess the Yankees.
Thank you, Lord.
We each have our own kind of crafts that we like to do. I like to do some sewing. I also like to work on singing and music. And Carl is into painting and exploring other stuff. I don't know, you have painting, drawing. Right now, we just recently started a 4-year Bible study, and so we're excited about that. We're only less than a month in, but it's really good so far, and we're not even out of Genesis. And then we also have Mother and the Light and Path team, which is Susan and Candy and Mother all together. They bring in speakers for us to talk to us about different things. We had speakers from the seminary on Marian theology, and we've also had some other religious come in and give us speeches on things like what our vows are all about, what poverty, chastity, and obedience are all about. And we've also had, one of them have talked about how do you live life as a religious sister with a bunch of other women. So, it's something you have to learn.
And living in community, it's new to us, but essentially you're moving in with a bunch of strangers. But in time, it's been such a short time for us, but you become family, and you have fun together, you have meals together, you pray together, and you also have your difficult times that you have to work out and learn to cooperate. And as our focus is on Christ, we have to die to self sometimes, and shedding the things that we are familiar with. We're learning more about who we are deep inside and who the Lord is calling us to be. So sometimes it's a surprise what your difficulties are that come up, because you're like, oh, I didn't know that was a difficulty, but it's hard, and so you have to let things go. And I'm sure in marriage it's the same way, but you work it out. And knowing yourself is important. And as I said, we do get to do these fun crafts, and as Mother was mentioning, we'll be formed and go to continue our education. So that will help build us into the mothers and brides and sisters we're being called to be. One thing that I did worry about, I was kind of like back and forth about when I was about to enter community is, losing my individualism, losing my little flair. But it's something that us on the outside, we might look alike, but really inside, I'm always going to be Carla, and Sarah's always going to be Sarah. And no matter how much I want to learn cross stitch, I'm just not good at it. So it's just embracing your uniqueness and being okay with that. And Sarah can do the cross stitch, and I'll do my paints that are all messy. So it's just learning to, okay, this is who I am, and it's a good thing, It's a beautiful thing, our individualism, and offering all of our gifts and talents to the Lord and just for the kingdom of God. And it's amazing too what things, the gifts that you do have that you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was a gift, but it's, from God, and it's meant to glorify Him. So it's good to build those up, and we're in an environment where it's encouraged. Some commonly asked questions, just, we do our own grocery shopping, we go out, we do the zoo and stuff like that. You get questions from people, I'm sure you can imagine. People look, and so that's a new thing for me too, because, I'm used to just blending in and look at me, I'm on my way. But it's something that as a witness, we're all called to be witnesses. And we're not called to just put it on the shelf when it's convenient. So the outward sign is something that I've embraced, and it's a beautiful thing. People don't want to think about God or think about this thing, but when we're kind of like in their face, but in a holy way. But some of the questions we received, I'll do a little role play and ask Sarah the questions. Are you Jewish?
Shalom. No, I am not Jewish.
Are you Mormon?
No, I am not Mormon.
Are you twin sisters?
We are not twin sisters, but Carla does have a twin sister.
Are you Dominican?
I am not Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican. No, I am the Marian, you call it the Marian girl.
Are you Amish?
I am not Amish.
How do you live without a smartphone?
It's hard, but we're learning to do it. Texting takes a little bit longer on a flip phone, but we're learning to do it.
For me, it was hard to give up Google. How am I gonna know things instantly? So I've learned to adjust. Why this community?
Well, personally for me, it was, I got here and it was very welcoming, and I felt at home. I just felt so much peace being here. And with other communities that I visited, I never felt that before with being that much at peace. So for me, that's how I just want the community to be at. And also I really enjoy hospitality, so holy hospitality. I mean, that's great. It's spiritual direction. I've always been, helped out with this youth group at my old parish. Yay, I get to do everything I like in this community.
And for me, I started working here at the Divine Mercy Center over 4 years ago and volunteering, total about 5 years, but it's always been in my heart to discern this community, and that's always been my intention for staying, is to continue to discern. And honestly, 5 years ago, I was like, oh no, Lord. But I stayed, and I stayed the path, and He continued to form me. And within the past, 2 years, it's just been like a push to just keep going. And everything just kind of, in God's timing, of course, just fell into place. And it's, we began. So it's been a blessing, and I thank God for His patience with me, but He works with us, and I'm thankful for that. And having studied psychology and gotten my degree in that, I've always had that on my heart, but I never felt, called to go to grad school or anything, but I just put it in God's hands, and I think the spiritual direction really lines up with that, and then the holy hospitality, that's very much in my heart as well. Another question we get is, are you happy?
Yes, I am very happy. I mean, who wouldn't be? With our chapel, we have and here we get to see our husband to be every single day. We get to go to mass every single day. I get to receive him. I get, like I just mentioned, I get to do what I love. I love to do holy hospitality. I love to cook and be in the kitchen. I get to do to school for mathematics. I get to do that with helping out here with the center with the accounting stuff. So it's just so great for me, and I'm really happy to be here.
And for me, yes, I am very happy. And I heard it described once by one religious sister where it's like a ping pong ball inside of you, where it's like the joy and stuff. Sometimes it just wells up and it's like ding, 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 ding. So, and also just in my heart, just feeling the Lord work on my heart, and just having a deeper love for my sister and for the community, and just a love for God. And so, yes, I am happy. Any difficulty?
Yes, I mean, there's going to be difficulties. There's always going to be difficulties. Like Mother said, we do have an attachment from our family. So it's not exactly, that's not easy. I love my family. They know I love them, but I don't get to see them or get to contact them as much as I would. Like if I was home, I would have seen them every day or talked to them every day. But there's other difficulties too. I mean, basically living with strangers, That was a new issue. I didn't dorm with anybody in college, so that was a new experience for me. That, it wasn't as difficult as it really sounds, because college is awesome. But you do have difficulties, and we work them out.
Yes, for me too, the separation from family is, it's a sacrifice, and it's something you offer up to the Lord. About 5 years ago, it was like unimaginable. It was like, no, I don't know about that. But just in time, as my love and understanding of religious life grew, it's something that's like, okay, I see the good in it, and I entrust my whole family to God every day, and He can take better care of them than I can. So, and He's taken such good care of me, so I just every day offer them up.
So we're just going to end with a reading and an entry from the diary. So we're going to, so Matthew chapter 13, verses 45 to 46. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant seeking beautiful pearls, who when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and brought it.
And from the diary of St. Faustina, entry 199, because she is our patron saint, and she's someone that I've grown to know, but especially recently grown to love and appreciate. In 199 she says, "When I think of my perpetual vows and who it is that wants to be joined with me, for hours I become absorbed in the thought of him. How can this be? You are God, and I am your creature. You, the immortal King, and I, a beggar and misery itself. But now all is clear to me. Your grace and your love, O Lord, will fill the gulf between you, Jesus, and me." And thank you all for being here, and thank you for joining us on this journey, because it is really just begun and we're just scratching the surface. And as Mother mentioned, please pray for vocations, pray for us, that we continue to grow in this new role of ours. And let's continue the journey. God bless you.
One last thing that I wanted to say is, the title of the bar nights with the sisters. I wanted to let you know where we got that from. I got it from. Months ago, I was speaking with a Carmelite sister, and she was telling me about, the difficult day that she had. It was really a heavy, busy day, and she said, so, I really looked forward. At the end of the night, I went with sister somebody to, down to the bar. And I said to her, sister, you went to the bar? And she said, yeah, oh, yeah. She said, downstairs in the convent, we have, where our refectory is, we have a juice bar. And so we just go hang out down there and have some juice and kind of talk and everything. So it just resonated with me. And I thought when we were discerning all of these, evangelizing efforts to get out there and for other vocations, I said, it's not a bad idea. Let's do the bar night. Let's have a bar night with the sisters, And so we got a little kickback from our board and a few people like, Catherine, is that how you really want to, affiliate, have the sisters known as, bar night with the sisters? And then before I could even answer, 3 other of the board members said, I really wouldn't have thought 2 things of it, but when I saw a bar night, I picked it up and, bar night and sisters are like, wow, I gotta read this, right? And they read the advertisement. And everyone on that board said, yeah, we read it too. We couldn't help but we're just wondering what the heck is going on. So it's a real catchy, just kind of like theology on tap kind of a thing. So it's a bar night with the sisters. So they'll have a potato bar, the taco bar, and whatever other bars they come up with. But it's all in a good thing and just getting out there and trying to acquire more vocations and, of course, unleashing that gospel. God bless you. Thank you for being here.